This is the first time in my entire life, my entire being, that I've actually worn my hair the way it naturally grows out of my head. I have 4C, like I have actual 4C hair. And I'll never claim that I have the tightest curl texture or the coiliest hair, but I have 4C hair and I've never worn it out just the way it is. I've never woke up, just fluffed it out and left the house. Never effortless. It's always been, my wash day needs to be 5 hours long because I'm either putting braids in my head, I'm either putting twists in my head, I'm either doing a flat braid out, cornrows, extensions, weave, wig, whatever you think it, that was attached to my wash day, instead of just washing my hair, detangling it, putting some moisturizing products in there and letting it be. I've suffered so much damage to my hair, just like not taking care of it. I've not been kind to my hair, continuously either frying it, putting chemicals in it to alter the way it naturally is. And today's the day that that all stops. The way I look on camera right now is not the way that my hair looks in its most natural state when it's dry. Like, it's drooping down in the front a little bit. It has a little bit of a downwards angle, like, you know, just because it's a little wet. I was watching this YouTube video from Amanda Mariana. That's her name. She's never really popped up on my feed before, but she had a video saying that 4C is good hair, and I immediately clicked it because if you don't know, I just recently started wearing my natural hair out, and most recently started wearing my natural 4C hair out in its natural hair texture, the way it grows out of my head, rather than always doing something to alter it, which was not the norm for me. And you're probably wondering, like, what are you doing to your hair right now? Right now, I'm getting ready to braid my hair, and I know you're thinking, weren't we just talking about not doing anything to our hair and just leaving it alone? I have an interview, and I promise you this is gonna get somewhere. Right now, I work in corporate America, and I have natural hair, and it is something that is more of an issue in my life than I would like it to be. And I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people who look like me or have similar hair textures as me never talk about. And I want to like break this barrier. I want to have this conversation because I've been wearing my natural 4C hair out in its natural state that looks like this all week. It's been the most comforting thing ever. And as soon as I got an email this morning saying, oh, you have an interview tomorrow, you're going to be meeting with X, Y, and Z people to talk about like their job position, I said, oh my goodness, I have to do something with my hair. I have to not wear it the way that I look on a normal basis. So right now, although I'm trying to break this philosophy for myself, I'm getting ready to braid my hair down so I can put a wig over it for 2 to 3 30-minute interviews. And you're probably thinking, girl, you don't have to do that. But we live in the country that we live in, and I do not feel confident in the way that these people are going to perceive me if I don't do my hair in that way. I feel like it will be against me. I feel like there are going to be points deducted from me just from their perception. And you know, we all have our innate biases, so I'm very aware of that, and I don't want anything to get in my way besides me or maybe my lack thereof of experience or whatever it is to stop me from getting this opportunity. So with that being said, I will do what I need to do to get my foot in the door. And if that means I need to go wash my hair real quick so it's wet so I can spend an hour of my time, instead of preparing for my interview, I am braiding my hair down so I look the part, I will do that. I wanted to have this conversation today because it's something I think about almost on a daily basis from when I was a little kid. And if you see me looking away, I'm looking at a mirror so I don't like look completely crazy while I'm doing my hair. Growing up as a kid, I used to get perms. I went natural when I was in high school, and that came with a slew of insecurities, backlash from my family, backlash from people around me, people just always having opinions on my hair, when I was just like super excited to like not get perms anymore. I remember being a little kid literally running away from my mom. I remember specifically running this one time my mom wanted to perm my hair, and I always hated perming my hair because my mom doesn't know how to do hair, so she did not know how to like manage my 4C hair. And my mom is African, specifically Ghanaian, and she grew up there and moved to this country. And in Ghana, the younger girls, have to shave their hair down when they're in school, all the way until they hit university. I don't know if that's still the same now, but it's well, I don't think it is because I have younger cousins and aunties who don't have to do that. But I know back then, you would never see a picture of a young schoolgirl with her natural hair out. They would always be short buzz cut, or at the very most like half an inch of their natural hair. That's just like the history behind the backlash I got from my mom. And I just have like this vivid memory of my mom wanting to perm my hair when I was like 5 years old, and we lived in an apartment building at the time. And I ran circles around this woman trying to not get my hair permed because I knew the pain that came with it. I knew the burning sensation that I did not like. I knew that I hated chemicals in my hair. And my mom was like, beauty is pain, beauty is pain. You have to do this to be beautiful. So from a young age of like 3, 4, I was convinced that I had to alter my appearance, put myself through physical pain from harsh chemicals just so I can be perceived from other people as beautiful. And as a child, I didn't know all these words. I didn't know what that meant. But I just always remember thinking, I don't care if people think I'm beautiful. I don't want to do that because it's painful. I don't want to do that because my other friends are playing outside right now. And I have to sit in the house with my mom who doesn't know how to handle my hair, who doesn't know how to care for my hair, put these chemicals in my hair that burn so much, it hurts so much, just so my hair can change. And I was a kid. I didn't care what I looked like. But that's just like the rhetoric and the idea I had in my head at the time. And I know that's not her fault because she grew up with that as well, but that's just something that shaped me. I stopped getting perms when I was like in 2011, I believe, like when I was right going to high school, like end of 8th grade summer. And I remember I had a best friend at the time. She didn't have hair like mine, but I would say she had like 3A curls or even 2C curls, but very long, beautiful curls. She was Hispanic, and her hair was much different than mine, but we both decided to go natural together. I was so excited because I was like, I get to use these products. Oh my goodness. I get to use these products that I never thought I'd get to use. I get to like try out these styles. And at that time in 2011, that's when like natural hair YouTube was like really popping off, and I was obsessed with it. And the OG YouTubers at the time, no shade to them because I appreciate them so much for making me like confident in wearing my natural hair. There wasn't a lot of 4C representation, and when there was a lot of like not good things said about 4C hair. I remember there used to be videos going out of their way saying, if you have 4C hair, you can't do a wash and go. You can't leave the house looking a certain way if you have 4C hair. And I used to think that way. And then there were also like these people on YouTube who genuinely had very loose textured hair, and we were all on this natural hair journey together because I know like people were getting relaxers, people were always straightening their hair, doing things to change their natural hair texture, and there was like this epidemic of like the curly fro. And at the time, me being in 8th grade, not knowing that this is going to sound stupid, but not knowing that there were differences in the types of natural hair that people had, I thought to myself, oh, like she says that she has natural hair and I say that I have natural hair, so I'm going to do whatever this girl, this mixed race girl is doing. I'm going to do whatever this girl who has like hair down to her butt is doing, whose curls are super like curly and not coily at all, not kinky in any sense. I'm going to do what she does to her hair because I want my hair to look like that. And she calls her hair an afro, and I know that I have an afro. And I just went down this rabbit hole of like doing their routines and in the morning thinking my hair was going to look like theirs, and it never did. And I would be so sad about it. I would remember being late to school just because I hated my hair so much. Like when I think back to like high school and how many times I've looked in the mirror with my arms tired from braiding my hair all night and doing all these different sock curls and heatless curls and braid outs and bantu knot methods, and my hair did not look like the YouTuber's hair that I was watching, I would cry so much. I would think I was so ugly, and I want to give like my younger self a hug so bad because I shouldn't have, we shouldn't have to go through that. If you look like me, if you have hair that looks like mine, or even if it's a little different, if it's kinkier than mine, if it's coilier than mine, has more shrinkage than mine, you are beautiful. We didn't have to go through that. You are beautiful the way you are. A part of me gets mad at some of the OG YouTubers, especially in the natural hair community, because they didn't really allow space for people with 4C hair. When back in the day, when I would look at like the natural hair community and I'd think of like people, like I'm gonna forget that, like natural and like other people, there wasn't really space for our hair. There wasn't space for our hair texture, and no shade to them because they like did what they had to do for the time being. But a lot of them made it seem like they had the kinkiest hair possible. Like their hair was as kinky and as fro-y as it got. There was a curly fro epidemic where people were calling their hair afros, and I'm looking for the afro part of their afros. And it just made a girl like me with short 4C hair very confused back in the day. And I just was like, I know my hair is an afro, but they're calling their hair an afro and it doesn't look the same. While I'm doing my hair, please do not judge me. I am not the best braider. I am terrible at putting parts in my hair. So yeah, if you have any tips for like self braiding your own hair, I know the end result of this is not going to be pretty, but as I said in the beginning of this video, I am doing this because I want to get a job, and I know that I have to look a certain way at first to acquire said job, so don't judge me if these are not perfect. I just always knew that my hair was different. I remember growing up, like, always seeing like other people's hair. Like, I grew up in a heavily Hispanic community, and I just remember always thinking and knowing that like, oh, all the boys like this certain girl because her hair is so long. And all the teachers would compliment these girls for their long, luscious hair, whether it be straight or curly. And they got all the attention, while me, with my little like twists and like my bobos, I never got compliments on my hair. The teachers never complimented the girls who had hair like mine if their hair was in cornrows or braids or twists. They never complimented our hair, and I just always remember having like that feeling of like, oh, if your hair, like even as a child, knowing if your hair looks like this, it's not pretty, but if your hair looks like that, it is pretty. The girls who have hair that looks like that, they're treated nicer. The girls whose hair look like that, they get to like hang out with the teacher or get special treats or get things that I don't get, even though I'm a straight A student. I'm so respectful during class. Why don't I get those things? And as even as like a small child in first, second grade, I remember thinking those things and noticing, because of the different ways we got treated, I remember just knowing that my hair was different, and that noticing the differences between me and other people, like, oh, my hair doesn't go downwards, my hair sticks up, their hair is like weighted down. And I remember like looking at some teachers and being like, I wonder, like always wondering the science behind it, like why does their hair go down, like is it heavier, why? Like I remember like being a child in like kindergarten after school and just like looking around at different teachers and different kids my age, and I'm like, their hair just goes down, like is it heavy, what are they putting in their hair that makes it go down? Like my hair doesn't do that. And it wasn't in a negative way at that point, but like I just remember thinking, like just noticing those differences growing up. Like I said, I am African, I'm from Ghana, and braids, not with my natural hair, but getting extensions put into my hair was something I've always done since I was younger. And I always remember just feeling my prettiest, because I wasn't wearing weaves or wigs back then, obviously. But I just always remember feeling my prettiest or feeling my best when I had some braids in, And my mom would never get them like super long or anything, but if I had my braids in, if they were like down to my shoulders, I could put them in a ponytail like the other girls in my class did. And although it was braids and it wasn't like my actual hair, I just felt better about it. And I didn't know that that was a thing until I got older. And I remember there was this one time I was so excited because I finally got like braids to like my mid back, because my mom would always only let me get braids like right here. And I remember getting braids to like my mid back, and I put it in a high ponytail. And I remember girls would always have like their high ponytail swinging. Finally got those braids in. I couldn't wait to like walk down the halls of school and have my ponytail swinging. And I remember like halfway through the day, this girl that I thought was so pretty, she was like one of the popular girls in my class, and she was Puerto Rican and she had super long hair. And she comes up to me and she goes, "You know, you walk funny." And I'm like, "What do you mean I walk funny?" She's like, "You know, you walk like this." And I was like, oh my goodness, like I was so excited to have swinging hair that I was dragging it as I was walking, swinging my head around so like my ponytail could swing. And I just have that vivid memory till this day of just like knowing that difference. That's just like a early memory of just knowing that I was different and being happy, and knowing that I was happiest with my appearance or the way I was being perceived if my hair was longer, if it was different in some way, just not the way it grows out of my head. Representation. Representation matters, and I know that's so corny to say, and everybody always says representation matters, but it does matter. It really does matter. Growing up, I didn't see anybody with my hair texture on TV. And if I did see them, it was a super tiny fro, buzz cut, a super exaggerated 70s Foxy Mama fro. And I feel like it's time we're serious with ourselves. Nobody's hair grows in an afro, perfectly picked out, perfectly afroed out. Like, that's not how 4C hair looks like. And it is beautiful. But I feel like the only times our hair, our Afrocentric hair was celebrated is when it was in its extremest styles, in styles that like still take hours to do, intricate braiding styles, intricate ways of wearing it, big afros. And people just, we were so accustomed to seeing that on TV that people just assumed that's what our hair looked like on a natural, regular day basis. And that's not true. Although my hair can be in an afro like that, it takes work to put it in. I would have to detangle my hair. I would have to blow dry my hair, pick it out, pat it down until it's perfectly circular and in that like fro like look. If I had these eccentric braids and crazy looking styles in my hair, that takes hours to do. And I'm tired of like having to do the most to be pretty. Like, I'm tired of having to be not my most authentic self to be pretty. And it's now that I'm starting to realize that. For the first time in my entire life, and I know this is going to sound like so corny, but I was watching this movie in the theater. It's called Bottoms. If you haven't seen that movie, definitely go watch it. It's super funny. And one of the actresses in it, Ayo Adebiri, I think her last name is. She's half Nigerian and half African American, I believe, regardless of her ethnicity. She wore her natural hair. I have like completely fallen in love with her. I have such a girl crush on her. And I think the reason why I love her so much is because she represents a girl that looks like me. It's one of the first times I've seen someone who looks like me, and they're not the typical baddie or the way that they present your typical black girl. She's like a normal black girl. And I feel like that's why I'm like so in awe of her, because she represents on TV like what I look like on a normal basis. In the movie Bottoms, her hair wasn't her hair was natural. And oftentimes when girls have natural hair on TV, like I remember seeing like Sky Jackson and on Disney Channel and stuff, they would have the perfectly put together braid outs, the perfectly put together bantu knot outs and twist outs. And that's not what her hair looks like. And although it's beautiful, and yes, she's black, and yes, she probably has textured hair or type 4 hair, that's not what her natural hair looks like when she wakes up. Someone had to put that style in for her. Someone had to put in a lot of effort to do her hair, and that's not what her hair looks like on the wake up. But with Ayo, she had like a really old braid out and it was shrunken, it wasn't even, some pieces were sticking out. And I'm like, this is what we look like. And she looked beautiful to me. It just made me so happy. Like, literally, I was watching the movie and I was like, oh, I could probably do my hair in that style. And I could do my hair in this style. And when she was in Abbott, her hair wasn't perfect either. And I'm like, she's not even doing anything crazy. She's not talking about her hair. But just seeing somebody on the big screen who looks like me, who has a deeper skin tone, who has features like me, hair like me, made me so happy. And it made me so happy for younger girls, even though younger girls shouldn't be watching that movie, but it made me so happy for younger girls growing up, because it just showed me that there is a new generation of representation coming about. And I don't want younger girls to feel the way I felt growing up when it came to their hair and not feeling beautiful with their natural hair texture. And seeing Ayo in those movies just made me so, so, so happy. Like, that was the first time in my entire life that I saw a black girl with my hair that I was like, oh, when I get home, I'm gonna do my hair like hers because it looks so pretty. And it wasn't even like perfectly crafted. It was just like her natural hair texture, the way it grows out of her head. And I loved it. It just like warmed my heart. Do not judge me. This braid is coming out so crooked, but I am too lazy to like do it over again. Like, I really don't care that much. That kind of just like makes me think of desirability. Like, as a kid, I just remember knowing to myself, like, I was not desirable with my natural hair. And although I personally loved my hair, and the way I was taught to do my hair back then in like 2011 on YouTube was, you cannot wash your hair and not braid it at night. You cannot wash your hair and not stretch it in some type of way. It's when you wake up, it's gonna be shrunken. It's like the language they used, even women with 4C hair that promoted natural hair, the language they would use when even talking about their own hair was so negative. And I'm like, at that point, I was just listening to them. I was like, I cannot wash my hair and not do something to it. I need to spend hours braiding. Like, I was in high school at the time. I did so many extracurriculars. I remember going to bed at like 3 a.m. and spend hours like making myself tired in the morning, doing my hair till my arms hurt, just so I could have a braid out, just so it could be a twist out. And then obviously, because it was so late, my hair wouldn't have time to dry, so it would be so shrunken, and I'd be sitting there picking at it for hours at a time trying to change the way my natural hair looked. Like, that's just not the way my hair looks, and that's okay. One of the struggles growing up for me specifically, I was on my high school cheer team, and we had to wear bows, and the way the team would wear bows, we all had to wear it in the same way. So if we were gonna wear our hair all in high ponytails, everybody was wearing their hair in high ponytails, but the bow had to be showing. If people were going to do a half up, half down, everybody would have to do a half up, half down. And I remember being a natural girl at the time in like 2011. I was in high school from 2011 to 2015. And being a natural girl at the time, and everybody, including the black girls who had their braids in, including the black girls who had their weaves in, and the Hispanic girls and the white girls whose hairs naturally fell down, always just like looking at me like, what are you gonna do? And my coach being like, we'll figure something out. And I would just always be the oddball, and it just always made me feel different. I recently was just free talking on TikTok, and I made this video. I'll see if I can insert it. I made this video talking about how I'm perceived and presentability, if you will. And I had my 4C hair out, and I didn't do much to it. I just woke up, fluffed it, and I wasn't going anywhere. I was just going to the gym. And my mom saw me. My mom and my grandmother saw me, and they said, oh, your hair looks like a mess. And I was like, I remember thinking to myself that day, like, ooh, I look good. I was hyping myself in the mirror. Granted, I didn't really get ready to go anywhere. I just did a quick fluff, sprayed my hair with water, fluffed it out so it was a little bit even. And I went to the gym. And I was going to the gym, and they're like, oh, your hair looks a mess. And I was like, what do you mean it looks a mess? And my grandma goes, your hair looks a mess. And they didn't mean it looked messy, or they didn't mean it looked nasty. They just meant your hair isn't done. Like, why are you going out? Your hair isn't done. Okay, I'm sitting in the car right now, so excuse the sweat. But y'all see my hair, right? Like, what do you think about my hair? The reason I'm asking is because my mom just saw me. I'm on the way to the gym, so I'm not particularly trying to look extremely cute or anything, but I think I look pretty quote unquote presentable right now. When my mom saw me, she goes, oh my gosh, your hair is a mess. But I have an African mother, so she didn't mean that in an insulting way. She just meant my hair's not done. And I looked at her, I was like, my hair is done. She was like, no, it looks a mess. And I was like, this is what I mean by, like, you guys don't like 4C hair in its natural state. Like, I haven't parted it, I haven't swooped my edges, I haven't, like, done anything to detangle my hair. This is what my hair looks like on the wake up. It's conditioned, it's moisturized, and this is what it looks like. And I feel like people are not used to this look, so this is what my whole natural hair journey is about. My whole natural hair journey, as of recently, I made a promise to myself this summer that I was going to wear my natural hair out because I wasn't happy with the way I was taking care of my hair. My edges were thinning out because I was just getting back-to-back braids, back-to-back tension styles, and it just wasn't good for my hair. So I was like, you know what, this summer I'm going to wear my natural hair out. And I remember that being such turmoil in me because I've never really done that in such a long time. And somewhere throughout my college years, I decided I was going to be a baddie. And I was like, I have the money to get my hair done now. I'm working. I can get my hair done. I can look the best way I want to look and be treated the best way I want to be treated, because I know deep down that I get treated a certain way depending on how my hair looks. I know that when my hair is in braids, I get treated a certain way. I know when I have a bust down middle part, 40-inch curly bundles in, straight bundles in, I get treated a different way than the way I get treated with my natural hair out. That is just a fact. So to go back to that video, they just meant like my hair wasn't done, and that was my whole like premise. So I got like instantly upset with them, and I was like, my hair is done. This is what I mean when you guys don't like. And my family is from Africa. Like, everybody's hair looks like this, so you would think that they're the most accepting of this, our hair texture. But there's a lot of like self-hate in our community. And I got like instantly a little bit upset with them because I was like, my hair is done. This is the way. I always have to like reiterate this to my grandma and my mom. I'm like, this is the way my hair, your hair, all of our hair grows out of our heads naturally. I do not need to alter my natural state to be considered beautiful. I woke up this morning and I did my hair and I thought it looked amazing. I like obviously have color in my hair. I was like, it looks so good like this. You can see like every coil. Like, I love it. And I go down to see you guys before I'm going to the gym, and you guys are saying that my hair isn't beautiful and that it's not done and that it looks a mess when I just did all this like hyping myself up. So I made a quick video and it accidentally caught traction on TikTok. And because it caught traction on TikTok, it then caught traction on Instagram, where a lot of these like natural hair pages were like reposting it. And I was just like, on TikTok, the comments were like mostly nice. But on Instagram, I haven't even reposted the video myself on Instagram because of how negative the comment section was. And the thing that was craziest to me was that the comment section, there were lots of nice comments, but the majority of the mean comments, and there were a lot of mean comments, were from Black people. There was not one negative comment that I saw from a different race person. All the white women in those comments were so nice. They were like, your hair looks beautiful. You look amazing. Your hair is naturally beautiful. Don't let anyone tell you you look bad. And the most negative comments I got from people were from Black men and older Black women. And I know we could talk about the history of self-hatred in our community for a very long time, but it just opened my eyes. I saw older women who I didn't even think knew how to use Instagram calling me names, saying that like being very nasty, very mean to me because I decided to wear my natural hair out. Something as insignificant as hair is causing an uproar. People were calling me names. People were calling me buckwheat. I had to Google what that was, and I was like, you guys are so mean. Black men were in the comments talking about, oh, and y'all wonder why we don't like y'all, and y'all wonder why we like Hispanic women more. And I was like, all this because of I was shocked. I was like, yeah, like this is like just very eye-opening. From there, I'll go through my following and just see like who's following me, who like just go through my insights and things like that. And I noticed there was a big, not that I want male followers at all. I noticed that like I had a significant dip in my male following within the last 90 days, which was this past summer, which is when I first started wearing my hair natural, which is when I first started wearing posting natural hair content and wearing my hair in its natural state. I got like 30 to like 50 black men who unfollowed me. Like all of my unfollows that I got were from black men, black boys. Not that I care, but I just thought it was so interesting that because I was still wearing makeup, I was still doing the same makeup. I'm still wearing the same clothes I've been wearing, still wearing the same style, still have the same body, but I just wore my natural hair and they said, yeah, I don't want to see this anymore. And I'm happy because I would rather have like the most authentic people around me or in like viewing my stuff, but I just thought that was insane when I noticed that like wow, I started posting natural hair content the way I naturally look and you guys were disgusted. Disgusted. I just like think of myself like now, like if I wasn't like the person I am now, as confident as I am now, seeing that like knowing that like oh my natural self, like it's not made up in my head. I know I'm getting treated different if I don't wear my hair a certain way. I know I get treated different or I am less quote unquote desirable if I wear my hair the way it naturally grows out of my head, the way it's supposed to look, without me putting extensions in it, without me putting braids in it, without me doing a twist out or doing something to alter the way my hair looks. I'm not desirable. You know what that does to someone's psyche? Like if I wasn't the person I am and like confident within myself, you know what that does to someone? Like that's like a big reason why people are changing themselves, not loving themselves. And if you know me, if this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Maui. I like to create self-love content, self-care content, but mostly self-love content and just like how to appreciate yourself. And I don't do it specifically on natural hair, but I think I want to start getting into it. So if you do like content like this, let me know. If you have any thoughts or have experienced something similar to this, let me know in the comments. But like, you know how crazy that is? Like in only 3 months, that many people unfollowed me because that many men unfollowed me because I started wearing my hair the way it was. So you're telling me you no longer like what I look like because of my something as simple as my hair? Like that's ridiculous. Like it's sad, honestly. And the fact that it wasn't like I have lots of followers from different backgrounds, different races, different ethnicities, and the one common denominator was that it was black men who unfollowed me, didn't like me in terms of social media with that video. The one common denominator was it was black people leaving negative comments about the way my hair looks and the way their hair probably looks as well. So like what are we talking about here? Your sister's hair looks like that. Your mother's hair looks like that. Your hair looks like that. But I look like buckwheat because I choose to embrace it. But the person who really like made me want to start doing this, I don't know if you guys remember her, but her name was Lip Gloss on TikTok. She no longer posts content because she wanted to focus on school and because she was an authentic black woman who spoke her mind about the way things really are without sugarcoating it. People would attack her on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram all the time because she would speak the truth. And one of her topics was that she was no longer going to force herself to spend hours in the bathroom, hours in the mirror, doing braid outs and twist outs when her hair is fine the way it naturally grows out of her head. And I was like, in my whole entire life, in my whole years of being, I've never worn my natural hair the way it comes out of my head. I've never just washed my hair and let it be. Just put some conditioner, a leave-in conditioner, and let it be. I always got to do something to manipulate it. That's just how I feel about my hair. I think I want to start making more content about self-love and the way it affects us, our hair. I want to start making content more about these things. Like, I know I'm not the only person who's experienced this. I know I'm not the only person who feels that way when it comes to their hair. I just spent like an hour braiding my hair down I'm not the best braider. I don't like to do this. It's not fun for me because I want to get a job. And it's sad that, like, to this day, I know I get treated a certain way. I'm seen a certain way. No matter what I say, no matter what I do, because my hair is natural, people see me a certain way and have their biases. So instead of showing up as my most authentic self during an interview, I'm going to spend time the day before braiding my hair down so I can put a wig over it so then I could then be perceived in a different way. Not that I know that it's a fact for this specific person, but I'm not even going to chance it. And that's just sad because I'm not even going to be there in person. It's going to be over Teams. So it's just like, these things are so redundant, but a lot of people don't know what it takes to be a black girl, what it means to be a black woman with 4C hair, type 4 hair, all the things we do in order to feel beautiful, in order to feel seen, especially in this country. One thing that really drove my natural hair journey was because I started my fitness journey as well, and I would be wearing wigs, and I'm wearing a net that's covered over a wig cap. Well, my hair is braided down. I'm wearing a net that's covered over a wig cap that is then covered over with a wig, a lace front wig, that I then have to put a band over so the lace stays. And now I'm putting a hat over it so I can go to the gym. That's what, 5 layers of things on my head so I could just go to the gym? And now that I've started wearing my hair natural in its natural state, going to the gym is so easy for me. I could wake up, fluff, and go. I don't have to worry. I'm like, oh, my lace is lifting though, but I'm like, I'm not about to lay some glue to go to the gym. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, all these different things. I just feel so much happier being my authentic self. I'm still getting used to it. I definitely wake up on some days feeling not pretty at all. I definitely see that, like, when I go out, like on a regular day, if I have no makeup on, I don't get the same attention that I used to. Not that I want it, but it definitely does something to you, knowing that you get treated a certain way as your most authentic self. But I'm happy that I'm doing this for me. I'm happy that I'm making this video so people out there that look like me can feel comfortable and that there is that representation, even if it is just a small little YouTube video. Because I didn't have this before, and I know before the natural hair movement came out, or before we had like the hair texture chart, even though people say it's rooted in texturism and this and that, when that chart came out, it was so easy for me to identify with which creators I wanted to look after, to copy their hairstyles, to learn from when it came to our hair texture. Oh, I'm so happy these are done, and they're not even like beautiful, so don't even come for me. Like, this is probably like the prettiest braid. Like, this is probably like the only braid that was done remotely nice, but it's fine. But now that my hair is done, I just want to say thank you guys so much for sitting through this video with me. If you relate to anything like this, I want you to know that you are beautiful. Your hair does not define you. You do not need to do anything crazy to your hair for it to be beautiful. You do not need to spend countless hours altering your appearance for it to be beautiful. You are beautiful just the way you are. You don't need your hair to be falling down. Your hair going in an upwards motion out of your face, showing those beautiful cheekbones of yours, showing off your beautiful bone structure and your beautiful lips and your big nose, whatever it is. That is what makes you you. Only a small percentage of women, of people on this planet, have hair that does what ours does. And it's so versatile, it's so soft, it's so beautiful, it's dense, it's kinky, it's coily, it's beautiful. You are beautiful. And I know it's a tough journey to like not see yourself as the baddie aesthetic or the soft girl aesthetic, because we don't see us represented in those roles. But you be that representative for yourself. You be that representative for a little black girl or a little girl with type 4 hair who can grow up seeing other people who look like her in these different roles, in these different aesthetics, on TV, in the media. You be it. So it's more, and I'm not saying you have to carry this burden on you if you don't want to. Of course, do your hair whenever you want to. Do whatever you want with your hair. It's your body. But I just want you to know that you are beautiful and that I feel your pain. I know what you've probably been going through, and I want you to know that you are seen, you are heard, you're not making this up. You definitely get treated different depending on how your hair is. So I can go on for hours about all these topics because there's so many different topics and nuances in this one topic. But I'm gonna end the video here because your girl is tired. Wish me luck on my interview. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join the fam. We're gonna have a lot of fun on this channel and I'm excited for the future. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you have an amazing day.